What's up, everybody? So what we're going to do today is I want to make this video and do a tutorial about why it almost never makes sense to rent versus buying. Now, sometimes it can make sense to rent, but if you're looking to build wealth over time, 90% of all millionaires become so through real estate. Now, that's not something I just pulled out. You could do your own research, check Google, chat GPT, whatever it is. And you will find that most people that become millionaires do so mainly through real estate. And it's not through investment properties or anything like that. It's from owning your own primary residence. So if you're still renting your primary residence, you want to take a serious look as to whether or not you could actually buy. Now, I made these notes here as reference, and I'm going to give you a copy of these notes. They're going to be linked below, or if you're on here live, you could go ahead and download them in the chat. They're right over there. But what we're going to do is look at a real example of how much wealth is made in real estate in just over the course of 5 years of ownership. And some key points about renting. So when you're renting, you're not building equity in your home. Equity is when you pay down the principal or when the appreciation goes up, you're building equity in your home. So every time you pay down a little bit of principal on your mortgage, it's forced savings. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. You also have limited control as a renter. You can't make customizations to your home or major renovations without actually talking to your landlord. And potential rent increases. Here in California, rent goes up at about 5% per year, and that's going to go on every single year. And when you're paying rent to a landlord, you're essentially paying off their mortgage. You're making them wealthy. So literally every time you pay rent, it just flutters away. And that's not the same with a mortgage. There's major tax benefits to a mortgage, interest deduction. You could go ahead and the mortgage interest that you pay on a mortgage is going to be a direct slash to your tax liability as well as the property taxes. So when you pay property taxes, that is a slash to your federal tax liability. And I'm going to show you how much that could be. Okay. It's significant. Now, I'm not going to, there are some times when renting does make sense. If you need the flexibility, if you're moving all the time, or if you have a job change coming up, when you do own real estate, in order to get away from that real estate, you have to sell it. And that's going to be subject to market conditions. So it may make sense to rent in some cases, but if you're looking to build wealth over time, as most people probably are, then owning your own primary residence is the way to do it. So I did link here mortgage interest direct savings on your taxes. I linked directly to the IRS publication of exactly what that deduction is. And as you can see here, home mortgage interest, you can deduct mortgage interest on the first $750,000 if you're married and filing separately. Now, I'm going to let you look at the IRS website on your own. But essentially, yes, the home mortgage interest that you pay is tax deductible. So I linked that here for you. Property taxes are also direct savings, and I linked here to the IRS policy for that for you to check out yourself as well. Obviously, talk to your CPA when you are filing taxes because we don't do taxes, but it's definitely going to be a big savings. I'm going to show you what those numbers look like in just a minute. Now, I mentioned the principal paid is for savings. So if you could imagine, if you're paying rent, what if part of that rent that you were paying was for savings every single month and building equity for you? That's what happens when you have a mortgage. Okay, so let's break it down and look at exactly how it looks. I have this example amortization schedule that I'm going to give you access to. But let's look at what a typical scenario might look like. I'm going to use a $700,000 purchase is what I'm going to use. And because that's the medium price in my market, so we're going to look at like if you just put 5% down and you have a loan amount of 665, and obviously rates change daily, but let's just look at a 6% interest rate because I think that's a fair way to look at it right now. Um, your mortgage payment on a $700,000 property is going to be roughly $39.87 per month. Now, on a comparable property, you're probably going to pay rent maybe $3,500 a month. So somebody might say, hey, well, my mortgage payment's going to be higher than my rent. Why would I want to do that? Well, look at all this savings that it offers you. Let's look at the first year alone. Okay, so in the first year of home ownership, you're going to pay roughly $39,000 in interest. Okay, now that is a direct savings off of your tax bill. So that's going to be directly off your tax liability. The other thing that you want to look at is principal that's paid down. In the first year, you paid down over $8,000 of principal. That's $8,000 of forced savings that you're building directly into equity in your home. Okay, so That's just 1 year. And if you look at this amortization schedule, you can see how it accumulates over time. Okay, so that's the tax savings aspect of owning real estate. Now, go back here and look at appreciation estimates. Now, I used 5% as an appreciation estimate, but here in California, we typically do a little bit more, but let's do 5% to be conservative. I'm also going to give you access to this rent versus buy calculator right here. If you click on here, I will show it to you in a minute. But let's just look, if you bought a $700,000 home with a 5% annual appreciation over 5 years. So in year one, this is how it appreciates over time. Okay, so in year four, your $700,000 home is worth almost $900,000, $893,000. So how does that actually translate to equity? In the first year, you've gained about $35,000 in equity. Okay. In year two, you accumulated an extra $71,000. In year five, you've accumulated $193,000 in equity altogether. So let's just look at that. By the end of 5 years, not only have you shaved off your tax liability, and you have gained equity of about $193,000. So let's look at that on our calculator sheet that I'm going to give you access to. Okay, so here's a scenario where you purchased a home for $700,000 down payment. Let's say you did 5% down payment. And just so you know, a lot of people, they get really hung up on down payment. They say, hey, I can't do that down payment. Well, there are down payment assistance programs. There's about 35 of them right here in Contra Costa County. I'm going to give you a full list and access of a search engine that I'm going to give you for all the down payment assistance programs that are available. There's one that I love. It's actually a grant that's 100% forgivable. And recently, I helped somebody with a transaction where they got almost $40,000 in the form of a forgivable grant. And it was basically the closest thing to free money that I could even think of. So there are down payment assistance programs. There's pros and cons to them. And what I think you should do is if this looks interesting to you, you should definitely, this is just one scenario that we're looking at, but your scenario is what's really, really important. So let's look at that if this looks interesting to you. So if you purchased a home for $700,000 and the interest rate on the mortgage was 6%, let's say that we're doing assumed annual appreciation of 5% per year. Now, if you compared that over 10 years, the difference between renting and buying, basically the way the numbers work out is after 10 years, you've accumulated an extra $318,000 in equity just from owning your own home, where your mortgage payment may just be slightly higher than what you're paying in rent. However, that mortgage payment is almost all savings when you look at the tax deduction as well as the forced principal reduction savings and equity build that you're looking at. So this works out in almost every case. So I'll give you access to this calculator here. I'll link that in the either in the chat or below in the comments if you're looking at this later. But essentially, what you need to do is look at your own scenario. Let's look at your own situation. What we do is we take a comprehensive approach. We look at what you're paying for rent, what your debts are, if you're ready to buy a house. Now, the main thing is when is the best time to buy? The answer is very simple. The answer is as soon as you are ready and able to. So let's look and see if you're able to and if you're ready. And then what your next step's going to be is we have a whole home buyer toolkit right here, and we're going to show you how to navigate the market, how to get the best deal. Now, recently we helped somebody get a real estate deal for almost 20% off its current list price. Now, that's going to be subject to market and a couple of different things, but there is a lot of different ways that you could buy real estate without having to overpay. And I'm going to show you that when I give you this crash course on how you could go ahead and do that. I'm also going to give you access to the Community Guardian Grant, which is a 100% forgivable grant that you could look at and see if it's something that you qualify for. A lot of people qualify for it, and you could get quite a bit of money that's 100% forgivable. Okay. Now, if you are in a case where you have a lot of debt and you're not ready to buy a home, everybody does financial planning, but nobody really does debt planning. What I will do is I will show you if you're covered in debt, I'm going to show you exactly how you can pay that debt off as fast as possible with the least amount of interest as possible. I'm going to give you a comprehensive plan on how to do that and get you ready to go ahead and buy your first house. So when you're ready go ahead and check out this comprehensive homebuyer toolkit that I have. And we're going to give you access to our down payment assistance search engine. Right now, we have over 25 programs in Contra Costa County that can help you with your down payment. And we're going to put together a comprehensive plan just for you. If you want, go ahead and jump on a 15-minute call for me with me right here. You could go ahead and text my cell phone. And also, if you're not quite ready for that, you can take the homeowner quiz right here. It's a 3-minute quiz. It's just a couple of questions where we're going to see exactly where you're at and get you the best scenario for you to go ahead and purchase this home and start building wealth in the direction of becoming a millionaire the way that 90% of Americans do it. So you could do it. And if it's something that you're interested in looking at, definitely get with me. And I hope this was a little bit educational for you. And I am going to give you, like I said, download these notes in the chat or in the comments. Download these notes, download the calculator, find out how much you might be able to appreciate and gain in wealth in the next 5 to 10 years. And then when you're ready, go ahead and give me a call and let me go ahead and help you out. We've been doing this since 2003 and we've helped hundreds of people, first time home buyers, go ahead and get in there and start their journey, and we want to help you too. Okay, so we take a comprehensive approach, and we're going to put you on a plan that is going to go ahead and set you in the right direction, and we appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Let me know if I could help or if you have any questions. You guys have a great day. Okay.